Hola guys and girls, and welcome to the team builder for week 10 of the PMC, the last week of the regular season. We are currently 8-1 going into this last week, having a nice 7-win record. We are already confirmed for playoffs. There's nothing that can happen this week which denies us a playoff spot. The only thing which this game might matter on is in the actual placement. If we lose and the second place wins, we might only be the second seed, but if you win, we are guaranteed the first seed in our division. And overall in the league, there's no one, like, the best anyone else can do is having 8 wins as well. If you win this, we are the only one in the whole league with 9 wins in the regular season. So that's definitely something to aim for as well. Of course, we want to keep our winning streak going. That was the plan all along. But for that, we actually have to defeat Birb and his new South Wailmers. You all know FlyingBirb. He's an analyst of the GBA, good friend of all. And yeah, he's going to be our opponent in this week. And yeah, let's check his team out to see what he can send to stand in our way for our dreams of having this winning record throughout the season till the final game. He got the Landretherian, the Charizard X, Katana, Slowking, Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, Bishop, Lickilicky, Garbodor, Circuitry, and Slurpuff. His Lickilicky and his Landorus T being his Z-move users. And yes, that's the second time this season we faced Mega Charizard X. Mega is the only one we actually lost to. That was in the game versus Johnny. He had Mega Charizard X before, he made a transfer, now it is Burb, and now we're facing it again. So that is kind of a bad omen, I want to say, and it's definitely still a huge threat versus my team, even after the transfers. Especially looking at General his team, he has the Alolan Ninetales, and he has a lot of setup mons. And that is a scary, scary combination, because if a Raw Veil is busy, you can't really punish them with setting up, because you're just doing half the damage. If you would OHKO them, you're doing half. If you would do 2-hit KO them, you 4-hit KO them. It's just way too big of a problem with Mega Charizard X, with mons like the Landretherian, with his Z-mon as well. So Z Flying, Z Rockium, Z Groundium, all these options are available to him, be it Rock Polish, be it Sword Stance. Charizard could be Blade Drum, Flame Charge, Sword Stance, Dragon Dance. His Katana could be Sword Stance, his Circuitry could be Tail Glow. He has a lot of setup, scary setup mons with the combination of Aurora. That's a very big problem. His defense is like not really noteworthy. Oh, I forgot Bishop, by the way. He has Bishop as well, which is scary as heck. And Slurpuff. So, if I have to summarize the biggest threats overall versus my team, I'm not so scared about this beast boosting core of Katana and Circuitry. I have decently good checks on that. The biggest threats, without a doubt, are the Mega Charizard X, the what I was to say, Charizard X, the Landretherian, of course, that's what I want to say, and the Slurpuff. Slurpuff is just way too big after it gets a battle round up. Thankfully, it's easier to deal with, like setup-wise, than the other two mons, since it cuts his own HP in half. So as long as I keep it under half, he is not allowed to get a battle round up. So that is nice, but other than that, the Landretherian and the Charizard X, once they start dancing or polishing, my team is not well prepared for that, or it's we will have some big problems with that. Landorus T, a little less, since I have the Sneasel with Ice, I can do a little bit of damage, but if it's a little bulky, if it has the Yachi Berry and not the Z Crystal, it's just not doing enough, and yeah, he can easily revenge kill me. But yeah, these are like the biggest threats, I want to say. But of course we can't close all the armor. He has the potential of Air Sack with Garbodor as well, so that furthers his cause of like a very hyper offensive draft overall. Like the only defensive mons he really has are like Lickilicky, Slowking, and Sandslash. So and Garbodor kind of like. And only two of these have library recovery in Slowking and Lickilicky. Lickilicky of course is Wish. Sandslash and Garbodor not having any library recovery at all. Overall, all these defensive mons are not no high tier picks. Like his defense is a very low tier, so it's obviously not the strongest, but that doesn't matter if he is so offensive as he is. So yeah, this is probably not going to be a long match. He's probably going to bring a very offensive team, and yeah, let's go over my team to see how we actually combat that. We start off with our Choice Scarf, Duck Trio, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Hidden Power, Fire, and Toxic, with a minus for Definition, enough speed to outspeed everything up to a max speed, Alolan Ninetales, which is the fastest one on this team. But yeah, let me talk about this Duck Trio. This is mainly there to revenge kill Charizard at +1 and the Katana. I guarantee outspeed a Choice Scarf Katana. The only way he could outspeed me is if he's a speed boosting variant and he gets 2 speed boost up. Then he could outspeed me, but I can outspeed Charizard, hit him with an Earthquake. This Hidden Power Fire, with my investment I write here, guaranteed OHKO's offensive Katana. He's not too invested. Like if he has a random HP investment, it is a roll, but standard offensive Katana is OHKO'd by this Hidden Power Fire. So if he has a little bit investment, which I expect, I of course need a little bit chip damage, which I can easily get through either his own Hail with Ninetales or some hazard stuff like that. But yeah, Katana is just way too weak on the special side, so that even Hidden Ball Fire from like a mighty special 50 special attack set does a lot of damage to that, if not awkward, I think. Then of course you have Earthquake for the Charizard, and then you have Stone Edge, so you need something to hit the Landorus or the Landorus or Charizard pretty Mega Evolving, and the 90s effectively as well. And then you have Toxic, just to Toxic Summon's defense mons, because Licky, if it brings it, it's very annoying for my team. Like, we already saw in the match with Joey that Licky is always a pain to deal with, and I have kind of a similar team, like I have Rantis, Feeny, Cobalion again, stuff like that. But yeah, it's gonna be a problem, so I just have Toxic on there, because I don't really needed another move. I didn't find anything which actually does more damage than Earthquake, Stone Edge, or Handball Fire. So yeah, that's Ducky for you, just being there as general revenge killer for mainly Katana and Charizard, and in general, basically outspeeding his whole team. Doesn't matter. Even Scarfers on this team wouldn't be faster than this thing. The only things which can be faster than this thing are if something gets +2 boost, like Rock Polish Landorus, 2 boost, speed boost, Circuitry. I don't even know if Circuitry can get speed boost. I think his speed is too low in comparison to special attack. But yeah, it's +2 speed Katana, stuff like that. Or Trick Room with Slow King. That's the only way you can outspeed this Duck Trio or slow it. But yeah, next up we got our Mew, Gracium, Zeep, Psychic, Energy Ball, Vacuum Wave, Nasty Pot, enough speed for a max speed Landorus. This is my main sweeper of the team. A lot of monsters team don't like taking Vacuum Wave. Beat the Katana, like way too weak on the special side, +2 Vacuum Wave, outgrow that thing. Bishop is the only thing which can basically deal with that thing after +2 Vacuum Wave, outgrows that thing as well. A lot of his fast ones, which outspeed my Mew, or can deal with Mew with like Sucker Punch from Bishop, don't like taking this Vacuum Wave. Then if Psychic is my main stab move, and then Energy Ball was the only thing which resists both my stabs, which is of course the Slow King. At first I had Z Thunder, but I thought Energy Ball is probably smarter in case he wants to like scout for Thunderbolt or something like that and switches into Landorus. With the Energy Ball, I just outgrow that thing as well if he's offensive. So I thought just safer option. And then +2 after Rocks, it does outgrow Assault Dash the Slow King as well. So that is great as well. I just thought Thunder, of course, would be stronger. Thunder outgrows Assault the Slow King even without hazards. Z Thunder, but the Energy Ball, it's just overall safer, and I can outgrow potentially Landorus as well with the Energy Ball over Psychic. So that's why I thought it's better. This is my main late game sweeper of the team. Its team is not too fast. The only things he has to be fast, which are faster than base 100, are the Katana and the Ninetales. The rest is all slower than base 100, so I can just Psychic them, and I've Lucky Wave for Katana, so it's only Ninetales which is really the problem. But Ninetales is easy one down with hazards and stuff like that, and if he's the quote-unquote standard Raw variant, he's not very offensive, so Mew can take this just due to natural bulk. Next up, we got a very fancy set, bringing on some heat. We got Assault Dash, Sleazel with Knockoff, Brick Break, Iron Tail, and Ice Shot. Once again, enough speed for a max speed alone Ninetales. And this thing, at first I gave it an Expert Belt, then I had Life Orb, and then I thought, okay, just give it an Assault Dash. Because with the special bulk, this thing actually takes special very nicely. This is my main switch. Like, I can already see what's happening. Is that I have the Finny in, he brings in Slow King, I have to switch out, and then I can just straight switch into my Sneasel. With the Assault Dash, I'm taking any hit from that. Even if Fire Blast is not outgrowing me. And of course, with the terrain up, I don't have to worry about Scaldmans. And I can just bring it in, knock off that, and that's great as well. With the Assault Dash and this investor I have, actually, I can take the combination of a Freeze Strike plus a Moonblast from the no offensive Ninetales. And if I'm at full, I can even take a max special attack Moonblast from a little Ninetales. So this Assault Dash can come in clutch, and then I have the moves. Knock off just general stab, Ice Shot, general priority, good for the Landorus case the thing sets up. Iron Tail, of course, there to outgrow the little Ninetales. Combination of knockoff and Iron Tail always outgrows the Ninetales. If he's max HP, Ninetales is Iron Tail is a roll. That's why I don't have Metal Claw over Iron Tail, because I want to have this guaranteed outgrow chance if he's a bulky Ninetales. And they have Brick Break there, mainly just so I have a secondary way, barring default, to get rid of the Aurora Rail, if that is too big of a problem. And I guess it hits Katana. Not for too much damage. It hits the Bishop as well, so which resists both knockoff and Ice Crash. So it's not useless coverage than that, but mainly I have it there as well to I'm able to break the Aurora Rail if that thing happens. But yeah, next up we got Rotom Heat, Physical Hand with Rocky Helmet, Volt Switch, Foul Play, Overweight, Pain Split. This thing is so bulky, and the speed right here, that's just a little speed, so he doesn't break grip me. And this time I actually decided to change it a little bit. Like usually I would just, okay, this is speed, like this is 0 speed. This was what he run to outspeed this, so this is what I need to still outspeed that. But then I decided, okay, I do that the whole season, let's just give it a little bit more speed than that, and boom, we are a bit more safer, like in case he wants to outspeed that again and stuff like that. So yeah, that's Rotom Heat. Main thing this thing is there for is all his physical attackers basically. It deals with the Meritrazzle X, with Foul Play and Rocky Helmet, it deals with the Katana, with Rocky Helmet and Overheat. It deals with the Slurpuff, kind of, at least. If it doesn't have Return or only Drain Punch, I can deal with that as well. And after a Belly Drum full play is doing a button to this thing. But the only problem, of course, is that thing is very pressured by a lot of its physical attackers. If he brings all of them, Rotom will have a hard time, and probably will only be able to use it as check to 1, which will most likely be Slurpuff, because like I already mentioned, the Charizard and the Katana are offensively checked with my Duck Trio, so if they get out of hand, I can always revenge kill them. I will probably mainly use it for the Slurpuff then, but it could be problematic depending on what brings it. It's a check to the Bishop as well. Of course, knockoff will hurt, but I can outcode with Overheat, and I can take the hit at least, and Iron, of course, is quite resistant, and yeah, that's mainly Rotom here for all of it. A lot of his offensive threats, 1 or 2 of the stab moves don't hit Rotom, like Landorus, obviously immune to Earthquake. Charizard can't go for Flare Blitz. The Katana can't go for Smart Strike or Leaf Blade, both of them. The Bishop can't go for Iron Head. The Slurpuff can't go for Play Rough. So this thing is just a very nice physical sponge of all versus team. And then I can bolt it for momentum and all this good stuff. And yeah, that's Rotom for you. Next up, we got Physically Defensive Tapu Fini, Moonblast, Nature's Madness, Haze, and Defog. This is my secondary check to all of his physical prowess, because most of his mons are physically threatening. I don't really think if he would bring Circuitry with me, since I have the Duck Trio, which just comes in on regular attack and traps him with Earthquake, so that's that. But other than that, I have the Tapu Fini here, mainly physically defensive, so I can take the hits from Charizard. I can haste that if necessary. If he like gets too many Dragon Dances, I can haste that with that thing, then Duck Trio can revenge kill. And then Moonblast, Nature's Madness, just overall best coverage. Fairy coverage I wanted for the, what you call it? Mainly for the, for Slowking, there we go. So I wanted a Slowking because I don't want to go for Water Move versus that thing. Then I have Nature's Madness, of course, to like cut all this in half. Moonblast is stronger than Surf as well. So we got that, and then, like I said, Haste, so the Charizard can't set up on me, which is a problem. I could run very speedy and Taunt, but Charizard could just be faster than me, because Space 100. And then, of course, we have Defog, because we don't want to be hazard stacked by the Gabodo. And, of course, it helps getting rid of the Aurora Rail in case he sets that up. Like I said, this is just to get, like I already mentioned, Rotom is very pressured in this game, depending on what he brings. And I just want to ease that pressure a little bit by having a secondary physical wall in my Tapu Fini. It just fits all the best. It is a switch into the Charizard X as well, since it theoretically resists both stabs. Of course, Thunder Punch will do a lot. But that together with the Rotom Heat should be able to do the job of handling Charizard X. And worst comes to worst, of course, I have always House right here. But yeah, that's Tapu Fini for you. And next up, we got our Cabra, our Cobalion, which is our utility mon in this time. This is my main switch into the Bishop, because it resists both his stabs. If he goes for knockoff, I actually get a boost as well. Then I have Chocolate Berry, which of course deals with the low kick from the Bishop, and this kind of as well as pseudo check to the Katana as well. As I say it the third time right now, Rotom is very pressured by his mons, and if I can use Cobalion to check the Katana, that means I can use the health on Rotom to check like something else on his team, mainly the Slurpuff if that comes. Because if Slurpuff comes, Rotom never allowed to take a hit. And yeah, I need to use my other ones to check the rest. But yeah, I have Chocolate Berry there. Helps versus Katana, Sacred Sword. Helps versus Low Kick from the Bishop. And then of course Combat Ironhead, Toxic Stare Frog. Close Combat Ironhead just best stabs versus him. Close Combat hits a lot of his team, and Ironhead hits basically the rest. Then I have Toxic. 3 of Slow King, which resists both my stabs, and Stare Frog because we want to have Stare Frogs. But yeah, that's basically my team. Like I said, the most fancy set I think is the Assault as Sneasel. We will see how much of that work Zeppo can put in. But yeah, I am a bit worried about this team because like, it's so offensive. It's always scary to, like, maybe I overlooked something. I'm way too weak to one of his threats. But I think I did a decently good job without being too defensive. That was the mistake we did versus Johnny's. I still have some offense. I still have my Cobalion with max attack. I still have my Sneasel with max attack. I still have my Sweeping Mew. I have Choice Scarf Duck Trio. I have only 2 defensive mons. We can still do a good amount of damage to his team. So, yeah, I think we are fine in this match. But, of course, let me know in the comments what you think about the team. Who will be the MVP? Who will pull through? Will we get our next win and final win in the regular season before we head into playoffs? Can we keep our streak going? Let me know all these things in the comments. But I will see you tomorrow for the match. See you there. Ciao.